Remember last week we talked about the difference between the global leaderboard and the US leaderboard, and we're really focused on the United States right now, even though this is a global business. Number 18, Brandon Jansen from Arkansas. Number 17, Carlita Williams, who's on the call tonight, also from Arkansas. Debbie Ray finished 15th. So, good job to you in Tennessee. Laura Curdy, I don't know if you guys remember Laura from Michigan, a really good friend of mine that just has been through a lot with her health. And she said she'll come back on and share kind of an update with everyone. But she had a customer that she hadn't talked to in 3 years that kind of came out of nowhere and said, "Hey, I've already worked through my overstock and I'm ready to enroll again." And so she's number 12 on the leaderboard. And then, are y'all ready? Number 5, Jean and Lorena Workmeister from the Arnold, Missouri area. We're super proud. They had a great month, and we're going to kind of double back with them. And then Hal and I finished number 2 on the US leaderboard. So go us. And then in terms of in terms of volume, just auto ship volume, I want to recognize Amy Martin from Mississippi. Number 25, number 20, Susan Welch, who's a dentist in the Todd's organization. And then number 14, Peggy Grawl from Kentucky. Number 13, Ronald Nunn, who is an amazing guy with an amazing story from Kentucky. Number 13, the real Judy Baker, number 12 from Illinois. And Helen Henson, my mother-in-law, is number 9 on just auto ship volume, which is sometimes an indicator of people who are doing a lot of retail. So congratulations to all of you guys, and a lot of hard work in November. Sometimes it feels like you're, a salmon swimming upstream, just because I know the holidays, people tend to be distracted. But I want to just kind of talk a little bit about energy. And I got this really great energy medicine book. And one of the things I love about it is because they give me some perspective that I think, oh my gosh, that really resonates with me. And it resonates with me because of this business that we do together. And here's one thing I want to share with you and just see if this resonates with you. One of the things that I love about Zalise and our product line is it helps us return to the practices that are natural, friendly, and familiar to the body, mind, and soul. Would you agree or disagree with that? Agree? Yes. And number 2, it helps us align with the philosophy that the body is designed to heal itself. And that is a basic fundamental view that functional medicine does not share with Western medicine. So one of the things I love about the space that we're in is that fundamental belief that the body is really equipped, designed, and wants to heal itself. And so there's a rule, kind of a spiritual rule, and this is the rule: matter follows energy. And so I want you to write that down. Matter follows energy. When your energies are vibrant, so is your health, and so is your business. And when your energy is waning, you can think about the opposite. And so I want to talk tonight about energy and where your energy is and how that affects your Zalise business. When I stepped into this industry, and it's been a minute, a couple decades ago, I really thought that people would do exactly what I told them to do because I was a nurse. And right, nurses are supposed to be the most trusted profession. And I was a fitness person. And in my fitness role as a trainer, as a group instructor, I would tell people to move to the right, to move to the left, to pick up weight. I told them exactly what to do, what to eat, and they did what I said. So I'm like, I'm going to be great at this. Anybody think that people are going to do exactly what you say? And it was such a big slap in the face because not only did people not do what I told them, the people that I thought would join me in the business that I invited, I took them to lunch. Like, I was very careful with people, and they just told me no. And I was so crushed by it all that it literally took me years to really sit back and learn from people who built businesses like this, businesses that you have to build from scratch. Because my entire life, my family's life was in healthcare. And in healthcare, I was a staff ICU nurse. When I transitioned to the pharmaceutical industry, I was in corporate America. And so I didn't have to go create anything. I had W-2 income. I was hired for a job and they paid me when I showed up. So I just didn't understand how this business differed from what I was doing as an employee or even as a small business owner. And so part of what we do on this call and what I love to do on this call is we unpack some little things that have made a total difference for me in building this business, which, we have done through the hardest of times, all of us. And some of us are newer to the business. And in fact, Judy is her first time on the call. We're so glad. The timing is great because we do feel like we have a very beautiful platform to build on this month and also in 25. But here's something I want to leave with you. What I learned is that in any business that you build from scratch, you're never going to be able to tell people what to do and they do it. That it literally takes dripping energy on people 5 to 12 times in order to influence them to make a decision. And so when I learned that for the first time, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because it doesn't mean that I didn't do a good job. It just means that I did not have a realistic expectation of what was required to get someone's attention, for them to know that I'm talking to them, to be able to assess and understand what I'm saying to them, to say it often enough that it registers, and then for them to make a decision. So it is a complicated process. And so one of the things I love to do is I love to hear stories from you guys when these very important truths, business building truths, come through our conversations. And one of the most consistent people in this business, who I adore, and she knows it, even though I like to slap her around occasionally, is Susan Everett. And so Susan, I had to text her. We speak at 6:30 a.m. on Tuesday mornings. Like that is, it's her job to entertain me on the way to work. And so we had this great conversation and a story. I'm like, Susan, I want you to share this on Elevation Call. And then tonight I forgot, or yesterday, I forgot what the story was. And so she reminded me graciously. And so, Susan, I would love for you to share your story about dripping energy on people.
So in other words, I'm supposed to tell a story that proves you right. Is that what I'm supposed
Yes,
to? Okay.
that's your job tonight.
Well, what was happened was I was telling Lisa a story about a guy that I worked with for, gosh, probably 25 years or something like that. And when I got into the lease business, he was one of the people I reached out to. Our paths had crossed. We both the business closed, so neither one of us were working together anymore. And so I had reached out to him and sold him some product, and that was kind of it. After that, it was crickets. I hadn't heard from him in a long time. But I do post once in a while and he would comment on them or whatever. But for the most part, I hadn't really heard from him. And then all of a sudden, his life took a turn. He and his wife, their health took a turn for something negative. And somebody else said, well, you ought to try some CBD. I think that would really help you. But what I thought was really cool was he didn't go to the store that person recommended, or he didn't go to buy from him. I don't know if the guy sells the product or not. I don't think so. But anyway, so he calls me up and he wants product from me. And I just thought that was really, really cool. It really was an affirmation to me, because, we had a long-standing good working relationship. He and I have worked a lot of hours together. So, your history with a person matters, but sometimes that doesn't win the day for you. And so I felt like, because I had reached out to him a few times, but he also just knew from what I had told him that if he ever changed his mind and wanted a product, I would be there for him for that. And it was really a cool affirmation for me, because it felt like the integrity of how I had treated him previously mattered to him wanting to come back to me to buy more. So that was a really big aha and a real good feeling to me. And somebody else just this week, I didn't tell Lisa about this, but somebody else this week, she had been around Judy and I. She went on a couple of volleyball trips with Judy and I. And if Judy and I are I mean, it's just, what do you do? What's that big cup with blue with that lettering on it? What is that, Zalise? It's just a part of who we are. So as we're talking about it, and she says what's in it, well, then we just say what it is and the benefits of it, and we don't make a big deal out of it. We don't go sales pitchy. It just is who we are. Well, she called me up tonight and wants to know about some products that might help her with get rid of a pharmaceutical product that she's taking. So it's just that constant. If it becomes who you are and you talk about it, I mean, Jenny talks about that a lot of times. It's who you are and you just talk to people about it. And it worked.
Well, let me ask you, Susan, about the guy who, his health condition deteriorated. How many times do you think, how many exposures, if you had to count the number of energy drips before he came back to you and said, I want product?
Well,
If
this
you had to
guy's
count.
probably an exception. He's probably maybe 5 drips, not very many,
Okay,
but it's been over quite some period of time.
interesting. Did you aggressively follow up with him or anything like that? Or
I did at first when I first sold him product. I reached out to him a couple more times after that, but not in a long time. No.
okay. Well, that's really, really interesting, Susan. And those are two really good examples. And so five would be within the 5 to 12 exposures. And so it's a great illustration. And so I have a question for everyone. I want you to think about this for a minute. I want to hear the ways that you put energy into those drips. Susan talked about a few of them. I want to hear what you guys do. How do you put energy into your business in the form of a drip or an exposure to someone?
Well, can I say one other thing? I mean, to
Yeah,
me,
please.
I'm excited about it. And so when I talk to somebody about it, like I run into a lot of people right now where Carol is living, and I just say, hey, it's great. I use this product. I said, do you see what I just got through dosing Carol with? And I said, it works for her. It saved her life. It's a great product. If you want to know more about it, I'll let you. And I try not to make a big deal out of it. I just try to be excited about it. Matter of fact, it works. And hey, if you want to learn about it, I'd love to talk to you about it. You got some time? So I just try to make it, before it was like, it's like my life depended on getting them to talk to me. And so it really was negative energy instead of positive energy. Even though I thought I was being positive, it was like it was too, well, like I say, I approached them like my life depended on them talking to me. Well, what's that do? That
Mm.
just scared everybody off.
Yeah,
And
it definitely does.
yeah.